Alrighty, this is the first page of your notes, and I just wanted to go through it in case you needed to review it, because we went through it pretty quickly this week. So, the x is called your variable, the 4 is your constant, and the 15 is your coefficient. And when we solve equations, we really want to get all of our equations to this two-step form. And the two steps you need to solve are, first, you're going to add or subtract the constant to create a zero pair. A zero pair is if I have that positive 4 up there, I would subtract 4 to make 0. And the second thing is that you want to multiply or divide by the coefficient to create an invisible 1. So if I were to take that 15 and it's being multiplied, the inverse is to divide, and then 15 divided by 15 is 1. And then the tip I have is if you are dividing by a fraction, instead you need to multiply by the reciprocal. So a reciprocal, if I had 2/3, would be 3/2, meaning you're flipping your fraction. That gives me 6/6, which equals 1. Okay? So we're going to follow these steps in order to solve our equations. So on number 1, I'm going to draw a brick wall. That brick wall separates my two sides, and you need to keep them separated. Whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other. I also like to box in the variable term, and I include the sign. Okay? So if I box in the 9m, the inverse then is to subtract 14 on both sides. So now I have 9m equals negative 27. And then the second step was to multiply or divide. This 9 times m is multiplying, so the inverse is to divide by 9. So now I have m equals negative 3. We check our work by plugging this answer back in for m. So I'm going to write the whole equation again, 14 plus 9, but instead of putting m, I'm going to put parentheses equals negative 13. And what I'm going to put there is my answer. I got negative 3. And if I were to type that into the calculator, it would tell me if it was true or false. Number 2, brick wall. Box in your variable term. And then you get rid of what's next to the box on the same side. So what's next is a negative 6. The opposite is to add 6 to both sides. That creates your zero pair. And then negative 12 plus 6 is negative 6, which equals n divided by 2. Now this is being divided, so the opposite is to multiply by 2. 2 times negative 6 is negative 12 equals n. And then I'm going to check it by plugging it back in. So negative 12 equals my n, I'm going to put parentheses there, divided by 2 minus 6. And so this negative 12 goes in place of n. Negative 12 divided by 2 is negative 6. Negative 6 minus 6 is negative 12, so it will work, but you would also just plug it into the calculator and see if it says true or false. Number 3, we're going to draw a brick wall, box in the variable term, and here I have minus 16. So the inverse is a positive 16 on both sides. So 1/2 b equals 12. And then fractions. This is being multiplied, so the inverse is to divide. But we said that if we're dividing, we really flip it upside down, the reciprocal, and multiply. So b equals 24. 12 times 2 is 24. We check it by plugging it in. 1/2 parentheses for the b minus 16 equals negative 4, and that goes inside. Half of 24 is 12. 12 minus 16 is negative 4. All right, number 4. I'm going to have you try this one on your own if you are watching this video, and then I'll be able to tell whether you're getting it or not. Number 5, brick wall, box in your variable, subtract 31 on both sides. So I have D divided by 1.6 equals 9. And then this is being divided, so the opposite is to multiply by 1.6 times 1.6. So D equals 14.4. I'm going to slide this up. Our check again, I would have my parentheses divided by 1.6 plus 31 equals 40. And then we would just plug that in where D would have been, 14.4. All right, and last one, brick wall, box in your variable term. We have a positive 19. We're going to subtract 19 on both sides. So 2/3 B equals 24. And then the inverse is the reciprocal is 3/2, and we're going to multiply. Multiply by the reciprocal. So B equals 16. And we would plug that in. 2/3. Sorry, I goofed on this one, and so instead of coming back and fixing it, we're going to fix it right now. 35 minus 19 is 16, and then when we multiply by 3/2, we get 24. But we still check it by 2/3 times 24 plus 19 equals 35. See, even Miss Phobes makes mistakes sometimes.